Hello class 7 students. Today I am going to discuss about the chapter Elements of Weather and Climate, which is included in part 2 of Geography of Social Science subject. In this subject we will discuss about the elements of weather and climate. Here first of all we have to understand about the elements. What are the elements? Elements are those which contains such kinds of parts of the weather and climate which are responsible for the occurrence of the weather and climate. First of all, we must understand about the elements. What is element? What do you understand by element? Element is the simplest form of a matter that we know. Suppose if we discuss about water, and if we write the scientific term of the water, that is the chemical formula of water, that is H2O, we are having hydrogen and oxygen. So what are these? These are elements. These are elements. And here, as we go through, oxygen is also an element. So in regards to weather and climate, there are certain elements which determine the weather and climate of the atmosphere and also the earth. So weather and climate occurs in a significant form through these elements over the earth surface. And here the most important element of the earth surface that we used to experience over and over is the atmosphere. The atmosphere plays an important role in determining the weather and also the climate of the earth. Here, first of all, we must understand what is weather. What is weather? Weather is the state of the atmosphere describing, for example, the degree to which it is heat or cold, weather or dry, calm or stormy, clear or cloudy. When we see outside of our house, we see the sky is cloudy, and yet we may not know that it is going to rain. If it is too cloudy and it is windy, it may rain, and ultimately when it will rain after 2 hours or 3 hours, it may be a sunny day. The sky will be cleared out. So this kind of weather changes hour to hour, day to day. So this is the weather. But in contrast to it, climate is also subjected to change of the weather, but it is done in an average form. Climate is the term for the averaging of the atmospheric conditions over long period of time. So always remember, whether hour to hour, it may change hour to hour, or day to day, or day to day. Similarly, climate, it is an average of a period of time which may be taken from 20 to 30 years. If you say when the weather of Assam today is cloudy and there are a little amount of overcast sky, it is quite hot and humid, the sky is not clear, and also it is calm, it is not stormy. But if we say the climate of Assam, it is monsoonal climate. The climate of Assam experience two types of climate, that is the monsoon period and also retreating monsoon period. So this will be discussed in your upper classes, in your higher classes, specifically in class 9 in the chapter or second chapter of the atmosphere of geography. So we will remain confined of studying about the elements of the climate and weather. So what are the elements of climate of weather? So if we discuss about the elements of climate and weather, climate and weather, it is significant to say that the elements that determines the climate and weather are same. So what are those elements? Those are the radiation of the sun, the wind system, the temperature, and many more. Here, as I have mentioned, the radiation of the sun in the upper portion, we can say that the wind system, the temperature system, and other atmospheric phenomena over the earth's surface, it is determined by the radiation of the sun, the insolation of the sun that is coming over the earth's surface. So climate is a term for the averaging atmospheric condition over a long period of time. Weather is driven by air pressure. Also, here we can say about the pressure, that is the pressure of the air, and also the pressure of the air pressure is also directly connected to the radiation of the sun. The temperature, radiation of the sun is connected, and moisture. When the temperature of the air increases, the moisture content of the air is also increases, because the moisture absorbing capacity of the atmosphere increases when the temperature of the atmosphere increases. So here we can say the differences between one place and another in regards to shorter period of time, that is weather. Always remember, weather is determined for shorter period of time, which may extend from hours to days. But if we discussed, as we discussed, that climate is quite different. Climate is termed in the average form. So what is the condition of the climate? As I have already mentioned, that it is taken the average of the weather, which is taken as a whole for 20 to 30 years is regarded the climate. Climate cannot change in a period of time, but weather can change in very short period of time, that is hour, or it may be during the days or time. So this is the definitions of the weather and climate. Again, I want to repeat that weather is the state of the atmosphere describing for the degree to which it is hot or cold, wet or dry. If we say that today the climate is quite hot, it is cloudy, and also it is warm, wet. So in contrasting form, calm or stormy, wet or dry, clear or cold, clear or cloudy, hot or cold. In this matter, weather are determined. So whether to determine, these are the important. To determine whether, we have to define whether the condition of the atmosphere is hot or cold, or the condition of the atmosphere is wet or dry, or calm or stormy, and also clear or cloudy. So to determine whether, we define whether between these two things, whether the place is hot, wet, calm or clear, or it is cold, dry, stormy or cloudy. So in this way, any one of each it is determined, and when it is determined, it is regarded as weather. But in regards to climate, it is taken the average of 20 to 30 years. How? Whether the place is hot, whether the place is wet, whether the place is clear. So it is determined in the form of the climate. Whether, suppose example, we can say the climate of a place is hot, it may be windy, it may be warm or wet. When the climate of a place is hot and humid in a period of time, like India, specifically the specifically the north eastern part of India, we can say that the Indian subcontinent is experiencing a monsoon type of climate. So for weather, hot or cold, wet or dry, calm or stormy, clear or cloudy. For climate, average 20 to 30 years is taken. So whether it is determined hot, windy, warm or wet, in regards to whenever a place is determined as hot and humid like India, it is northeastern state. Specifically, if you take northeastern state experience monsoon type of climate. So these are the differences between the weather and climate. So here we have to determine a small term, convection and advection, in regards to determining the climate. Convection and advection. Suppose the place is warm or hot. When the place is hot or warm, over the earth surface there are bodies of water like seas and oceans, and when the sun rays falls over the earth surface, the water evaporates from the seas, and as it starts evaporating from it, it goes up. As it goes up, because water vapor is lighter than air, it is warm, so it goes up. As it is going up, it cools down. As it cools down, this process is called as convection in a form of mass. Convection is the movement of a fluid. Fluid means this water vapor typically is response to heat. When it is heated, it comes up, it goes up. So this is convection. But advection, we cannot find the perfect difference between convection and advection. But advection is the movement of some materials dissolved or suspended in the fluid. Whenever certain, suppose this water vapor, this water molecule, if you say these are the water molecules, and here some suspended particles are dissolved. So it is called advection. So convection is heat transferred by mass. It is vertical movement in air. It is vertical. Convection does not goes in this direction, nor horizontal movement. So convection always in the upper movement. Advection is the heat transferred by fluid movement. It is horizontal movement in air. Advection is horizontal movement in air. It is not comes out, advection. So this movement of air also determine the climate of a place and weather of a place. So advection, always remember, advection is horizontal in movement. Horizontal in movement, and convection is vertical in movement. This is the main difference between advection and convection. If you understand these main differences, it will be helpful for you in determining the differences between convection and advection. Always remember, both are similar. It is a movement. Okay, convection is the movement of fluid from lower portion of the atmosphere to the upper portion of the atmosphere. Advection is the horizontal movement of heat, and when it is heat is transferred by mass, it is vertical movement of air. So by mass, transferred by fluid movement, it is horizontal movement of air. Convection is vertical, advection is horizontal. Always remember. So in regards to the temperature distribution over the earth's surface, there is a matter that we have to discuss in the later part of the video. For today I have discussed about the differences between the weather and climate, and also I have defined what is weather and climate. And in regards to weather and climate, two phenomena which are very important, these are convection and advection. I have discussed that. In the next discussion I will discuss about the other factors which will determine the weather and climate. So I hope so you will listen to these discussions, and in the consecutive days I will try to upload several videos on these chapters, and at the end of the video discussion I will try to discuss with the answers of the concerning questions which are present in the end of the exercises of the lesson. So for today I hope so you will understand properly. If you don't understand, you go on repeating the videos, replay the videos and watch it. If you don't understand, you find difficulty, you can contact with me in the WhatsApp group as opened, as formed by your class teacher. So for the time being, I hope so you will share this video to the other students. Thank you.